Hello and Happy New Year, and there's a lot of us start our first day of 2025 with a teeny bit of a hangover after Jules Holland last night. A lot of us are waking up to scenes like this. Look at that. And as you can see from this footage, the flooding has been detrimental. I mean, just look at the volume of water crashing over that weir and under the bridge, and even on the canal. The amount of erosion that has taken place near that lock is comparable to that you'd see at the coast during a winter storm. And with the realities of climate change, the situation isn't going to get much better in the future. And that's why these kind of habitats are so important. Wetland woodland. Now, it may not be much to look at, but these sort of habitats are essential as a natural flood defence. These big pools of water that you can see behind me act like reservoirs, storing the water when you get these big precipitation events like we've just seen, and then allowing them to slowly percolate and move through the landscape. If these weren't here, the water would just run straight from the hillside and straight into the river, which would obviously then increase the chances of flooding. Now, this may not be the easiest of habitats to move through, but it certainly does its job. This whole woodland acts like one massive big sponge. In the moss, in the soil, in the pools of water, even in the trees. They all store water when there's a high influx of precipitation and then slowly allow it to drain through into the surrounding waterways. And this basically reduces the chances of flash flood types of events. Wetland woodlands are also fantastic for biodiversity because they create what's known as a mosaic habitat. It's basically when you get lots of different habitats in a fairly small area. As you can see here, you get the open bodies of water, you get the wet grassland, you get the mosses, and obviously you get the trees as well. And that gives you overall a greater diversity of wildlife. But sadly, this woodland's days are numbered, as it's been approved as a site for 150 new houses, which obviously on a personal level is upsetting for me because it's where I grew up. But also, it's the obvious loss of a lot of biodiversity, which if I was to tell you all about the biodiversity in these woodlands, you've had about 3 seasons of footage. But also, it's the loss of a very important natural flood defence system. Now, by concreting over this area, as you usually get in urban estates, none of this water is being soaked up right now that you can see in the pools or that you can't see in the trees and the soil. That's going to be on the surface, and that's going to run off straight into the river system and will inevitably affect flooding downstream in Staley Bridge. Will that happen? Probably. But it's the future, it's uncertain. But what is certain is it's a great tragic loss that this won't be here for much longer.